The new hire at my work is my college bully who took me on a fake date and used it as a chance to record me as a creep trying to prey on her. Should I use this as a chance to tell HR? Posted by you/do_construction7435. I, 34M, am a lead developer on a team at a mid-sized SaaS company with around 100 employees. We are large enough that there are employees we can see and recognize, but not necessarily know their names. Recently, we had a new hire, Krista, 33F, who joined the PM part of the project I'm working on. I have a history with Krista from college. In college, I was more in my shell. I didn't treat myself well and was very much an introverted nerd, with admittedly bad posture and poor fashion sense. Krista had quite a few friends in college, and while she wasn't super popular, she was well liked and conventionally attractive. We shared a few classes together, and one day she asked me for help with an assignment. I helped her, and we talked. She seemed genuinely friendly to me. I helped her with a few more assignments, and finally, she asked me if I wanted to meet her after class at a coffee shop to talk. I said sure, but when I got there, Krista was nowhere in sight. I waited about 20 minutes before I called her. She answered and started laughing, and I heard several other voices laughing too. Krista said something like, "Why would I want to date a fat loser like you?" I looked out the front window of the shop and saw one of Krista's friends holding up her camera phone at me. For the next few weeks, there were jokes about me and flyers with my face from the coffee shop video plastered up with, "This guy's a creep," in bold letters on top. I kept my head down, and within a month, the next big thing popped up on campus, and I was forgotten. This didn't stop Krista and her friends from saying, "Ew, creep," when they saw me, but the rest of the campus eventually moved on, so I was never accused of anything or ostracized by the rest of the student body. After college, I learned about self-care and usually am with other programmers, so I don't stand out as a social outcast. When Krista was introduced to our team, I don't think she recognized me. It's only been a week, but I want to know if bringing up the college incident to HR is worth it. Most of my rational brain wants to let this go, treat Krista as a new person, and move on. However, I have a small fear that she might tell a skewed version of the college events and sour the team against me. I wonder if I should at least disclose the incident to HR so that if she does start telling tales, I have some recourse. What should I do? Update 1. Yesterday, some things happened, some bad, but mostly good. There were mixed responses to my previous post, with most advising me to report the situation, though one HR professional suggested I shouldn't. Due to the mixed advice, I consulted a local employment lawyer. The lawyer advised me to inform HR about my past with Krista, but to make it clear that there was never any disciplinary action taken against me in college. He asked if my job had a copy of my transcript, and I verified that it did. The lawyer also asked if there were any third parties who could verify the harassment and suggested I get their names and contact details if needed. I knew 2 people from college who I still had on LinkedIn and was certain they would tell the truth, so we were good there. The lawyer told me to request a meeting with HR and my supervisor, explain the situation with Krista, emphasize that there were never any charges or disciplinary actions, and mention that I had 2 witnesses if verification was needed. So, that's what I did. On Friday morning, I came into the office and sent an email to HR and my supervisor requesting a formal meeting at 10 a.m. My supervisor came to my desk, asked if everything was okay, and wanted to make sure I was happy. I told him everything was fine, I wasn't leaving, and it wasn't anything to do with him or the team. He seemed relieved, and by 10 a.m., we were in the conference room with the HR officer. I thanked them both for taking the time to meet with me and then followed my lawyer's instructions. I explained that the new project manager, Krista, was someone I went to college with, and that she had participated in the harassment of me during that time. I detailed that there were never any charges or disciplinary actions taken against me, and that I had 2 independent witnesses who saw the harassment and provided their contact info. My supervisor seemed shocked, and the HR officer reviewed the information I provided for a minute. Then the 2 of them talked for a moment before finally calling Krista in. When Krista walked into the conference room and saw me, HR, and the team supervisor, she seemed shocked. HR started with something like, "We have been told you 2 have a past." Krista sat down and looked pretty shocked throughout. She did admit to the bullying but tried to reframe it as a misunderstanding repeatedly. She never outright said what the bullying was, but then she was told that since this was an incident in both our pasts that nobody once brought up again, it should stay buried. HR made it clear that this is not to be a funny watercooler story to share. Krista and I both agreed to that, but Krista still looked shaken. Noon was approaching as the meeting was wrapping up. My supervisor and HR reiterated that neither of us is to breathe a word about the college incident. We're professionals, and we're here to do a job. I went to the break room for lunch, and my appetite finally returned. The last few days had been stressful and I wasn't eating much. I sat at a table with the rest of the development team and we started eating. Halfway through my sandwich, another coworker, Sandy, 30F, came by and said, "So I heard an interesting story yesterday about you and Krista," with a big grin on her face. She didn't get further because my supervisor, who was at our table, stood up, pointed at Sandy, and across the room at Krista, and said, "You two, conference room, now." I wasn't privy to what happened in the conference room, but I did see the HR officer go into the room 2 minutes later, looking pretty pissed. I guess she got the call and was interrupted during lunch. I'm not sure what went on. The rest of my team asked what that was about. I said, I have no idea, and just kept eating. 5 minutes later, 2 more coworkers from other parts of the project were brought into the conference room. Lunch ended and we went back to work, but speculation was high. It wasn't until 3 p.m. that the conference room finally emptied. Krista looked like she had been crying, and the others who had been in the room with her seemed to treat her quite coldly. I'm not sure what this will mean, but it appears, for now, that Krista is still working here. I appreciate the lengths HR and my supervisor are taking to ensure this won't blow up further. Update 2. Monday wasn't a dumpster fire, so that was good. My supervisor and the HR officer brought everyone on the team into the big conference room. The HR officer said that we are a professional company, and while we do like to have fun, we are to be strictly professional and not gossip about other coworkers' personal lives. Sandy and the 2 other coworkers who were brought into the conference room on Friday looked pretty ashamed during this. Krista was sitting at the other end of the conference room table, and there seemed to be a noticeable distance between her and the other employees. My supervisor said he wants to consider this matter closed and for us to get back to offering great solutions to our clients. Everyone filed out of the conference room and went back to work. Lunch on Monday was pretty tense, but on Tuesday management had a local Mexican place bring in a Taco Tuesday for us, and the mood improved considerably. I don't gossip, but I did hear murmurs that Krista is now on her final warning and has been put on a performance improvement plan, all within her first 2 weeks. Not sure how true these rumors are, but with how isolated Krista now appears to be from the rest of the team, it is clear that everyone else is not willing to socialize with her beyond their work functions. I considered this matter closed myself, and if Krista worked hard and got her redemption arc, I'd have been fine with it. But then last night happened. I'm not sure where Krista got my address, but she was outside my house last night, and luckily my doorbell camera caught it, so I can pretty accurately transcribe it. She rang and asked if we could talk. I said through the digital doorbell that there was nothing to talk about and she better leave because this is now harassment. She pleaded for me to come outside and discuss it. I declined and emphasized she's not welcome. She then said she had a crush on me in college, that her friends found out she asked me to coffee and pressured her to turn it into a harassment campaign, and she was afraid of them disowning her for liking a guy like me. Guys, I wanted to laugh so freaking hard. I was socially awkward back in college, but even I knew this was BS. Hell, I wasn't even interested in Krista for a date, I thought she wanted to be my friend. I told her that I didn't care what she had to say, she had to leave. She told me I could just ask Sandy what she told her and it would clear this all up. I declined and said that this matter in the office is closed. Krista finally made an exaggerated sigh and walked off. I took the video recording from the doorbell and sent it to the employment lawyer. I will give it to my supervisor in HR today. I will be shocked if she lasts longer than this Friday now. Update 3. Krista is fired. I didn't even have to send HR the doorbell cam video, but I did send it to the lawyer I was talking to. The lawyer is drafting a cease and desist and potentially a restraining order if needed. Krista somehow got my address from someone in IT. The IT new hire is suspended because of this data breach, and everyone got a memo about data security yesterday morning, including the usual about phishing scams. Krista's desk was empty when I came in yesterday morning, and since I'm taking the necessary legal steps, I'm considering this matter closed. Edit. Krista tried to show up at my front door one more time a week later. I called the cops, and she was removed but not arrested since she didn't technically do anything yet. The lawyer served her with a cease and desist, and it has been communicated to me that she understands. Work is almost back to normal. No one wants to talk about Krista anymore. I consider this truly resolved now.